Hi, welcome back to Road to Reliance. I'm Annie. If you're new, thanks for joining me, and if you're not, welcome back. Today I am making gardenia potpourri from all these beautiful gardenia flowers in my garden. So I have my basket today, and I'm going to go ahead and pick some of these, let me show you, that are yellow and fading. And then I'm going to take you in and I'm going to show you how we make our own potpourri. So hold on, hang tight, and here we go. Okay, so I just wanted to be pretty transparent here now. I have only done this bush that you see behind me. And as you can see, I have already filled an entire basket of blooms. I still have 2 in the front, 2 bushes on the side, and 2 on the back of the house. So I'm going to go ahead and empty these, keep filling up my basket, and once I get in and get them all done and get them ready to go, I'll be back to show you what I'm going to do with them. So catch you soon. Okay, I'm back. Sweaty as heck, but I'm back. This is what I harvested. Don't get too excited and think, what are you going to do with that? Because I also harvested all this. Just to give you an idea of how many we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 gardenia bushes, and every day I pick these blossoms. I get them when they're kind of just, falling apart, all the way down to sometimes when I miss them and there's nothing left of them. And basically all I'm going to do is hold the stem on the bottom. I'm going to pull the petals off as much as I can, and I'm just going to sprinkle them on my table. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm doing this, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I didn't actually set out to make gardenia potpourri, but so when we moved here, all of the trees were covered with Spanish moss, and all of the plants were covered with Spanish moss, and I thought that we had gardenia blossoms or gardenia trees, but I wasn't sure. I mean, I guess I knew. I just, you second guess yourself. We all do it. All right, so I decided to pull all of the Spanish moss off of the trees and the bushes and see what happens. And lo and behold, within like 2 weeks, the trees went stupid. The gardenias were just crazy. And I'm going to tell you, I wish we had, what would you call it? Smell-o-vision. Because if you could smell... Well, this is actually Lance's workshop that I took over. Don't we do that, ladies? It's his man cave. I even bought him a sign, but I took over. Anyway, so long story short, the gardenias are doing good. I got all these petals. I'm ripping them apart and decided, gosh, they smell so good. I really need to figure out what to do with them. And since we're all about self-reliance and DIY, doing our own thing, I decided now was a good time to learn how to make potpourri. Now, what I'm going to do is I am just going to pull these petals off, and I will go through this entire tote, obviously not on this video, or it would be 2 hours long, I'm sure. And I'll have to take a break in between because I am really sweating up a storm here. It's, I don't know, 90 degrees outside right now, so it's super, super hot. That's why I had a hat on. But the sweat is running down into my eyes, and if you wear contacts, you know how much that sucks. So anyhow, here's the story. I'm ripping off all these petals. I'm setting them down. These stems I'm throwing back in that tote. When I'm done, I will take the stems and I will dump them in my compost bin, which is actually going to be at the end of this video. We did start a compost bin, and I also am going to make, and I started it, I've got some pine needles in jars. I'm going to make my own pine cleaner, which instead of getting a recipe from modern day, I actually got a recipe from way back in the day. Somebody shared it with me, one of my readers, and said, what did I think? Did I think it would work? And I said, well, the best way to find out is if I try it. So I'm going to show you that too. So in the meantime, I have all of these. I have an 8-foot table here full of petals. I have an 8-foot counter here full of petals. These darker yellow ones that you see in the back are almost dried. They're not crunchy yet, so I just kind of, as they dry, I kind of scoop them back. I've done the same. I know you can't see them on this table. These are all bright yellow because they've been drying for a couple of days, and the ones at that end of the table are crunchy. The ones that were totally dry, I have put into jars, which I'll show you at the end of this video. But I also have 8 dehydrator trays in the house. Now, I will tell you this before I cut off and go finish all these. If you're going to pick petals of any kind of flower, number one, please be careful. These are flowers, so they do have bees. They could have ants, spiders, whatever. So just be careful. Maybe use gloves if you're not comfortable. If you have allergies, this project may not be for you. Another note is that on these petals, I do not pull, and there's a reason for it, which I'll show you. Let me get the petals off of this one. Once I get to this hard centerpiece here, I do not pull that center out. And the reason is I did that prior, and when they dry, good Lord, they stink to high heaven. You don't want that part. They stinky. So the smell of these does stay through the drying process, although it does get kind of like a more stale smell of gardenia. However, we are going to add, and you don't have to, but we are going to add other things to this. And we're also going to add essential oil to this, a gardenia essential oil. I'm actually going to put it in jars, make sure it's all dry, and I'll save it until I'm ready to actually put the potpourri out. And right before time, I will sprinkle a few drops of gardenia oil in the baggie, swish it around, let it sit for a day, and the next day I'll set this out. Now the nice thing about this is you can do this with any flower. I have a whole mason jar, quart jar full of rose petals in the house. Now those kept their smell even, 2 years later, those rose petals still smell like roses. So you don't have to really do much with those. You can if you want. But with gardenia, I noticed that they do tend to lose some of that really sweet smell that kind of attracts you to them. So I have a whole tote here. I will be back once I get all these cleaned up and cooled off and take a few breaks, and then I will come back and I will show you what we do with all this and everything that is in the house to make gardenia potpourri. I'll be back. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I have this whole table done, and let me turn you around so I can show you this table. These are the ones that are dried, and these are all the new. Now, just so you know, I still have a lot left. So Lance is going to come home and say, you made my man cave smell foo-foo, because that's what he's going to tell me. But that's okay. So I'm going to lay out one more board. I'm going to get the rest done. I just wanted to let you know just how much this made. And I will be back in just a minute to show you how we finish off the project. Okay, we are back and in the house. Now, here's what I got going on. So I spread all of my gardenia petals out on those tables out there and had to make another one. Lance is going to love me, trust me. This is an example of dried gardenia. Now let me let you get a close-up of this. And the difference between this and what I'm about to show you is, and I don't think you can hear it, but it crunches. It is totally dried. You can at this point if you need to, and earlier actually I have too many to do it, you can close these or dehydrate these in a dehydrator. That is okay to do, but these are finished. And to this I will add some natural stuff, and then I will tell you what I'm going to do with that in just a minute. This is a dehydrator tray from, I don't know, I guess an old dehydrator. I bought these at a flea market actually. They have a big round hole in the center here. They must have fit on a different type of dehydrator that I guess they got rid of. But I bought the trays because I love them for natural air drying. And I lay these dehydrator silicone mats on top of it so that little things don't fall through. These are not ready, and the way we know they're not ready is they bend and give. So when they bend and give like that, they're not dry enough yet. So that's just a stage of it. And these are a little newer. Now these are not on a mat, and I do have the fan on in here, so they're probably going to blow everywhere. But these are much, much newer. Some of them are starting to get crispy, but like I said, they're still very soft. So I have these drying in the house. Now, Do I notice a difference between the house and the outside? Believe it or not, with my air conditioner on, I think they dry slower in the house. I still have the eight trays going on my dining room table, but the ones that I had outside are actually dry. I have a lot of them ready for jar. So I think they dry better in the natural heat. And it's really humid here too. So they're in that room. They're enclosed. There really isn't much of a breeze in there, but the heat dries them much quicker than in the house in the air conditioning. So now here is the catch to this. You can fill your jars with all of this potpourri, and you can add your essential oils. If you only add a few drops to this, shake it up real good, and you should be okay. Put a lid on it. You have it when it's ready. Put it in a bowl. You can refresh it the same way. However, if you are making a large batch of this and you want to add, let's say you want it to smell real strong, some people do, or you feel like you're afraid it's going to mold if you put your essential oils into this jar, you can lay these out on trays and spray them with essential oil if you want to. You can also drop your essential oil in here, shake it up real well, and then put it back on a tray. If you are going to dehydrate this, please do not put essential oils on before you dehydrate it. Now, unless you are one of the few that has a dehydrator that you do not ever put food in and you only use it for this purpose, by all means go ahead, but I wouldn't recommend it because I don't know about you. I don't want to take the chance that I don't wash it all and it doesn't come off my food. So that's my tip for that. With that said, like I said before, I'm going to add some little miniature pine cones, acorns. We went for a ride this weekend. We went fishing again, and this is like the pine tree cap. I've never seen so many pine trees in my life. And we found a couple of trees that have the little itty bitty pine cones. So I did collect some of them to put into these jars, but you can do just petals. It's up to you. This is rose petals from August of 2022. These still smell like roses. No different than the day I put them in the jar. So I can use this. I can add rose essential oil or leave them as it is, but I've got this to mix. Do not mix this with gardenia. It does not mix well. They do not smell good together. So you can bag this. You can just throw it in a bowl, add some essential oil there, however you want to do it. But this is a great way if you have any kind of flowers that have a scent to them or have rather larger petals, and you want to save them and you want to do something with it. Potpourri is an excellent, excellent thing to do with it. And, you know, we don't just lose the bush, you know. I mean, I lose all the stems, but I throw them in my compost bin, and the rest of the gardenia goes to potpourri. So it makes some really great gifts. You can make sachets with it, whatever you want to. Before I go, I just wanted to say, I told you that I was making pine cleaner. This is pine needles stuffed into my mason jar and filled with vinegar. Now, I know a lot of people do half vinegar, half oil, or half water, but the lady that gave me this recipe gave me straight vinegar for 7 days, and then to check the smell of it, if it smells good, then you take it out, water it 50-50 with water and half the vinegar, or you can do half of the water from this and then an equal amount of water in a spray bottle. There's many options to this, and I'm gonna do a post on this actually, because there's different ways to do it, and I'm gonna do the different ways. But this is another really great way to be self-reliant, is to make your own pine cleaner. Lastly, and also I have also, just to see what they're going to do, I had some red pepper and green peppers and orange peppers, and then we had some hot peppers. And I, to be honest with you, can't remember what these are, but I have saved the pepper seeds, so I'm going to be planting them. I have also been saving, I am a sucker for pudding cups, and I'm saving these to start some small seeds in. So they don't hold a whole lot, but it's a good self-reliant way to start some seeds. And the last thing I'm doing, I never have luck with this, and I'm not sure why, but this is my romaine lettuce. I cut it off. It is actually growing roots. I'm going to try to plant it. Now, every time that I have tried to do this and get it in the dirt, no matter where I put it, no matter how I plant it, no matter what kind of dirt I use, no matter how much I do or don't water it, it always just rots away or dies. But I'm trying it again. So the whole point is to keep trying to do things that make you more self-reliant. And if making your own potpourri helps, then it's just one more thing that you can do to be self-reliant, right? So I am going to go finish cleaning up my man's man cave that now smells like foo-foo gardenia. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any potpourri recipes, feel free to share them with me. Maybe I'll try them if it's something I can get my hands on. And or any suggestions, I'm glad to hear them. If not, then I guess I'll see you next week. Keep being self-reliant. Bye for now.